Greetings, everybody. We are fast approaching Nevada's Big Give, and I don't know about you, but we sure on the Nevada's Big Give team are getting really excited. It's hard to believe March 23rd is already upon us, and we hope that you're having fun with this year's planning and have some exciting things in the works. So we thought just to kind of give you some final tips and tricks, reminders for everything on your plate. We thought some reminders might be helpful, so we wanted to just present this webinar, recorded webinar for you to give you some of those final ideas and thoughts and make sure your Big Give Day is a success. So we are recording this. That's the good news. So, you know, everybody's going to get to hear this as many times as you'd like. Moving forward, so we actually, I've got the luxury and pleasure. I've had the opportunity to serve with Diana Morgan, our board president, for several years now, and we've gotten to see this tremendous event just grow and flourish. And it's exciting, you know, to know that more than $2 million has been raised over the years for nonprofits and schools in the state of Nevada. So we're excited to be with you today when we're not wearing our volunteer hats. We have lots of other things with family and work and all sorts of stuff, but Diana is our board president, as I mentioned. I'm a board member of Nevada Gives and was really there since the beginning when this thing first got kicked off for Nevada's Big Give. I also, my other hat is serving as founder and chief strategist of my company, Professionals in Philanthropy. So again, we try to bring some of our own wisdom and years of experience in the field to you today. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Diana to get us started.
Thank you, Stacy. All right, we've got a couple of weeks to go, and as Stacy said, we are getting very excited. Now is the time to really ramp up your efforts and your communication. So let's talk about a few key things that you should be doing now in preparation for March 23rd. You know, really encourage your staff and your volunteers to do one-on-one outreach with their friends and networks. This word of mouth is absolutely critical. People will not donate if they are not asked to donate, and they will donate more often if they are asked to donate by a friend or family member, by someone that they know and trust. So please encourage everyone that you know who works with your organization to go out there and ask and give them the tools so that they can do that well. If you've got a matching grant, you want to make sure you set that up on your giving page on the RASU platform and talk about it, publicize it in your communications. It's really important because when donors find out that their gift is going to be leveraged 2 for 1, that gives them more incentive to hit that Give Now button. So go ahead and talk about your matches because those are really great and exciting. You might want to consider doing a countdown on your Facebook or your Twitter feed by using the countdown images that are in the nonprofit toolkit on the Big Gives website. On this slide, you'll see the 7 days. That's the 7-day to the Big Give countdown graphic, and we have everything from 10 all the way down to it is the day of. So those are in the nonprofit toolkit. Just go in there and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll find social media graphics. Download the file, and you're good to go. If you have donors that you know are going to be away on March 23rd, they can actually give now and have their donation count towards the Big Give. What you need to do is just send them a link to your nonprofit page on the Big Give website and instruct them to click on the blue donation button and go ahead and process their gift. Their gift will count to this year's Nevada's Big Give, and it will be processed immediately on their credit card. In years past, we've had a set it up and wait for processing on the day of system, and that has changed this year, so your donor will see their gift go in to the bucket right now when they make their gift. You can finalize volunteers or your volunteer duties for the day of events. If you're having people coming to your organization, you want to know what they're going to be doing and go through your plan. Prepare all your necessary outreach materials. Prepare communication pieces that you can plan to send out during the giving day. Get that stuff pre-written because March 23rd is going to be a very busy day, and it's going to go by quickly, believe it or not. So some helpful tips that we want to just give you at the end of this is, don't wait until the 23rd to start promoting Nevada's Big Give. You really need to be doing it now in order to have a successful Big Give. And as I mentioned, it's going to be a really busy day, so our advice is to have you or draft up your messaging so that you have it ready at hand to send out. You want to try to be as planful as you possibly can, but leave some open spots in your communications plan on the day of the Big Give so that you can post real-time information and real-time thank yous and keep that momentum going all day long. And don't forget that donations started to count for Nevada's Big Give on February 23rd, so you can start asking people now.
It's an exciting, I think that's actually a really exciting, tip, because one of the things, as you mentioned, Diana, I know in years past we had it set up in different ways, and a lot of donors, and many of you who are listening can probably relate to this, are busy, they don't know where they'll be on the 23rd, and they just see it and want to do something now because we're a very reactive, responsive society. So this is a great tool to just kind of get it done, make sure that they're supporting you when you're doing some of that outreach. And again, this goes back to what Diana said, doing this before the Big Give Day, letting people start to get excited with you, pepper in messages. It's not like you inundate them, right, with too much, but you pepper things in from here now to the 23rd. So awesome. So moving on, now flash forward, you've done all of the great stuff Diana just suggested. Now we're talking a couple of days before, and what does that look like? So sending out those email reminders and asking your supporters to spread the word through their circles of influence is so important. Many people sometimes have asked us, who do I find? Who helps me spread the word? And honestly, it's kind of anybody and everybody who loves you. So your board members, some of your clients, if they love you, and love the work and the impact you've made on their life. Your volunteers, your staff. There's a lot of times that we've heard really creative stories and fun stories about teams and departments, if you're a larger organization, kind of having their own internal competition with staff to see which staff team can raise the most donors and dollars on this day. So make sure to activate that. Confirming volunteers, of course, you now have hopefully lined up some volunteer support, or if there's other staff members, whomever is helping you on the giving day, you'll just want to make sure they're confirmed for the day of activities. And you want to start, again, it's sort of this, it's kind of like a snowball that turns into a boulder, right? But it's a positive thing. And so it's this ripple effect that you start with an occasional message, right, in earlier March and in mid-March. But then as you're a couple days out, you really want to look at posting 2 to 3 times a day on social media about the Big Give. The Big Give's only 48 hours away. Are you going to join us to see, how Nevada does on this biggest day of giving, right? So you can kind of do things like that. Doesn't have to all be saturating people with messages about your organization. Talk about the larger effort if you want. Talk about the fact there's amazing organizations in this community and in our state that are doing phenomenal work to improve our quality of life. Make it more than just an ask. And so this goes on to what I was just sharing, but I also would recommend, one of the things we've gotten feedback on in the past is donors who say, gosh, I'm inundated, right, with a lot of organizations whose mailing list or email list I'm on or social media feeds, and I'm inundated with all I see is, give me money on this day. And that only goes so far, right? People don't want to be badgered like that and beat over the head with that message. So I think making it more than just an ask, figuring out how you can, throw in some other things just about what your organization does and the impact you're having is huge. And share your stories. You all have phenomenal stories, and we had a storytelling webinar that if you haven't listened to it, I encourage you to listen to it, because your stories are what can bring this day to life. Stories about what you're doing to activate giving on your giving day, stories about the impact you're making, the lives you're touching, bring that to life and just make sure your audience can kind of connect with that. And post those stories on your blog if you have one, on your Razoo page. those of you who created your giving, your own specific customized giving page on Razoo, you'll see there's a reason intentionally it says share your story here on that page, because stories evoke emotion, evoke giving. So make sure to do that. Help people understand that the unique way your nonprofit is equipped to serve this community, and how much you make a difference, and how their donation, and because of them, they enable you to do even more. It's important to make it as much about the donor as it is about yourself. So not just we're a wonderful organization, we're amazing, but also we're doing good work because of your generosity, right? So you can hear that shift in the way that message is delivered. And so just some helpful tips for this section for the couple days before. Some other things to think about: if you have media connections, you absolutely, if you haven't tapped them yet, you'll want to tap them. Send them out the press release, have your PR or marketing firm, or if you're a one-person shop and you know somebody in media, reach out to them, tell them what you're doing. It's amazing, but a lot of the media we've even found have said that they're looking for the lesser-known nonprofits to interview for the Big Give, because they highlight and feature a lot of the larger, more established organizations, which is great, but they're also looking for sort of the lesser known organizations to try to help you gain awareness. So don't let that discourage you. Look at what you can do and what resources you have to tap into. Diversifying your communications. Again, think about it not only in your communications messages, but also your channels. So some people maybe don't have a strong social media presence. Don't worry about it. Then tap into where you do have a strong presence. I actually have a client that I work with, a nonprofit in Southern Nevada that isn't super, tech savvy, doesn't have a real big email database, but they're out in the community at a lot of different venues and a lot of different farmers markets and fairs a great deal of the time. And when they're out there, they can hand out a little flyer to people and customers who come. So it sounds a bit old school for an online giving campaign, and yet it works, and it's worked brilliantly for them. So again, just think about your strengths and how you tap into those. And then, gosh, this is probably one of the most important ones, right? Give yourself some time for some rest and relaxation if you can. I know it's easier said than done in the at this point when you're in the nonprofit sector, but March 23rd is going to be a long day. It's also going to be a fun day, but it's a long day. So many people talk about how they're glued to their computer or their phone looking at the totals and the leaderboard totals all day long. So you want to make sure you're rested for it, you're energized for it, so you can convey that energy in everything you do on that day. And I want to just kind of give a shout out and show some slides. Sierra Nevada Journeys was kind enough to join us on a webinar we did on social media. You can find all these, by the way, on the Big Give website under resources. But they gave us some examples of what they did. And what I love here is you can see an example of a pre-event post, right? So you have the picture, which is just, this adorable little girl, and then it, talks about, why does Lacey want to go back to Sierra Nevada Journeys summer camp. And, they did like a little poll, right? And it was kind of fun. I mean, they made some fun out of it. And it was all tied into their Big Give campaign, which was to try to get young people that were part of Big Brothers Big Sisters to come to camp at Sierra Nevada Journeys. So it was a very strategic message. They made it lighthearted and fun, along with kind of the way the energy of the Big Give Day is. And of course, then they did the hashtag and tagged Nevada's Big Give as appropriate on there. So, and then you'll see right next to it, of course, what they did for the day of. So did a great job on their social media with how they kept updated and mixed up their communication, so it wasn't sort of this dry, stagnant, give to us, give to us, give to us message. People get tired of that, right? So they mixed it up and use some of this as an example for your organization.
Thanks. Stacey, I'm going to actually go back 1 second to talking about what to do 1 to 2 weeks before the event. I apologize that I neglected to talk about individual fundraisers, and I think it's important enough to go back a couple of slides and share a few tips on fundraisers. So your fundraisers are those people in the community that will raise money on behalf of your organization. You may be a board member listening to this webinar, or you may be a development officer listening to this webinar. Board members, other volunteers that are very close to your organization, and previous donors make really great fundraisers on behalf of your organization. There's a whole toolkit in the resources section of the Big Give website just for fundraisers. So make sure that anyone you have out there as your fundraising army, make sure they are prepared with this toolkit. Anyone can access it on the website. So it's got everything they need, and they can even dip into the nonprofit toolkit as well, just to see what's in there. But I did want to go back and mention fundraisers because just like matching gifts, they are an incredibly important way to leverage support that you already have into greater numbers that ultimately allow you to advance your mission even further. So thank you for indulging me on that. Let's talk about what happens on the big day. So we're going to kick the day off at 8:30 in the morning, and we're going to have a press event at Town Square from 8:30 to 9:30 in the morning. We've invited all the media in Southern Nevada. We are planning to broadcast it live on Facebook Live, so if you can't be there, you might catch it on Facebook. We do encourage you to come down. It's going to be a great opportunity to put your organization in front of the media who are attending, and we have some fun speakers and performances lined up. So it'll be definitely worth your while to come down and spend an hour or so with us. So on the big day, in addition to coming to this press event, you'll want to send about 3 emails throughout the day to your constituents, but you want to be strategic about it. So look at the times when certain prizes are being awarded. All of those times, all of that will be, those details will be put out closer to the day of. But look at those prizes and think strategically about when you want to really try to push people to give. You don't want to send all 3 emails at 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning because you've already kind of done your thing and now you have the rest of the 24-hour period to fill. So think strategically about that. And then adjust your messaging accordingly. Your first morning message is going to be different from your end of the day evening message. Social media is your tool, your best tool right now for this event. It's an online giving event, so use it. Use social media. Cheer people on. Thank people for making gifts. Do real-time updates. Go live on Facebook if you know how to do that, and say thank you live. Do quick interviews with the people that you serve because they're excited that your organization is raising money on this big day. So be creative and definitely use social media because it's your friend in this event. And then just make sure that you are on top of it. It's not, social media is your friend, but it's not your only friend. You still have a phone, and you still have text messaging and emails and your website and so on. Use all of your methods of communication during the day, and you'll have a more successful day that way. All right. So just a couple of reminders. We have said this a couple times, but truly, it is a long day. So get a good breakfast, make sure you have some fun along the way, and try to take a couple breaks during the day to keep your energy fueled and your momentum going, because if you crash before the end of the day, that's not going to be good for you. We don't want that. So one of the things that you can do is with your volunteers, kind of decide who's going to take what shift during the day. If you've got some people that you can trust with your social media posting or keeping an eye on how things are going, let them take an hour while you take lunch, that kind of a thing. So just take care of yourself. We're all familiar with how hard we work in the nonprofit sector, and we need to take care of ourselves. So
I think that's my great tips. Great tips, Diana. Yes, it's, I love it. Your slide is the one everyone will remember the most, right? Because it's got all the fun little visuals and the things. We need like a hammock with people, laying there on the beach too with an umbrella drink. But that can be when you're celebrating after your big day. Yes, definitely want to recharge and make sure you keep everything, the energy going. We've actually had nonprofits in the past tell us that they're up until midnight at the end, 11:59 p.m., the last second of that 24-hour day of giving, because believe it or not, you'll even see action happening the last hour or 30 minutes with people who are, friendly competitive, but are trying to win one of those prizes. And if they're close to others, they will call in all their contacts and be making last-minute donations up until midnight. So that is one of the reasons, because this is a 24-hour online giving day campaign, generally you want to make sure you preserve your energy. So thank you. So moving on, you've gotten through your big day. You're hopefully really excited about it all. So now it's time to announce your successes. And there's so many ways to do this, right? Again, just like we said before, use the channels and communications channels that you have the strong followings on. Use all of them. People want to know how you did, especially because you put so much energy into communicating before. So your social media, your website. Some people will put a page on their website for the next week. An email communication. Some people will actually make personal calls. There's a lot of things you can do, but you want to announce your successes. And the success can be several different things, right? It can be the number of donors you got that day. How many of those might have been new donors that you never had for your organization before? It can be about the money you raised that day. It can be about matching grants that you met or got close to meeting. You can share any awards you win that day. There's, in addition to the sort of competitive awards based on performance of how many dollars your organization raises, there's also some random golden ticket prizes and some more strategically, sort of designed golden tickets that happen throughout the day. So hopefully you'll get an award that you can share that excitement too. So lots of things to announce and celebrate the day after. And, the thank you emails can't emphasize it enough, right? One of the things that was really impressive to me last year as a donor to an organization, I within 2 hours had gotten a notification about not just the standard template one that you can design in Razoo to go out, which is important, right? You want to do that. That's a tool for you to use. But they had also had one staff member actually dedicated to keeping a tally the entire day of who had given and sending a personal thank you in response. So I had gotten this nice little sweet, hey Stacy, this means so much to us. And it was also, there was another personal note in there, and it just really made me feel like they knew me as a person, an individual and donor, and that they really appreciated it. So do what you can. Activate volunteers are a great way to do that day. So people who want to help you, tap into that spirit and that energy. And then physical thank you notes. So you can do it for your top givers, for your matching donors, for those who fundraised for you. Sometimes we get the question, should you send a physical thank you note since it's an online campaign? Diana, I don't know. My thought is absolutely, and if you want to do it to everybody, to do it to everyone. People don't mind being thanked. What are your thoughts, Diana?
I agree with you 100%. A good old-fashioned handwritten thank you note is so powerful. Think about you and how you like to get cards and things in the mail. Everyone likes to get a personal thank you in the mail. So I highly encourage you to do that.
Yeah, it's such an easy thing that we forget in today's modern age, but so important. And make sure that when you have the opportunity, I think you send a thank you, but soon thereafter, and we'll talk about that, there's opportunities to also make sure you kind of collect donor info. There was a donor, every donor is different as we know, but there was a friend of mine who was a donor last year who talked to me a bit about how they actually had one group reach out to them and say, we're just curious. We want to get to know you better. what drew you to our organization on this day? And this donor was so impressed because instead of just getting the boilerplate thank you, the person said, gosh, it feels like they're actually trying to get to know me. They're actually trying to build a relationship with me and get to know why I gave to them. And so that person said, they're on my list. I've already got them on the list for next year, and probably they'll get a bigger one because they actually took that extra step to try to get to know me, which, as we all know, is a good part of development as it is. And hopefully the Big Give is just one part of your whole development plan for the year, because it's certainly an integral part for annual giving and so on. And of course, update your database. You get all the great information from your Big Give page that you can get in a nice Excel spreadsheet that is usually easy to download or input into your database. So even if your database is just a spreadsheet in Word or Excel, that's okay. But take this new information. You now have people who've given you, unless they decided to give anonymously, you have access to every single person who gives to your page that day. So make sure to get all their updated info in your system and to flag that they, if you can put a note that they were a Big Give donor, great way to really give you some of that intel you need for the rest of the year and even the next year's Big Give campaign. Moving on, helpful tips. So you don't need to send a tax receipt, and a lot of people don't understand this, but Razoo, while it's a for-profit company, has a nonprofit arm called the Razoo Foundation, and it is basically works like a large donor-advised fund. So it takes in all of this money generated during this day, and then it disperses it, right, based on the donor's intent. And so if I give to, ABC charity, it makes sure that ABC charity gets my donation. And so one of the things as a result of that, because Razoo is the one receiving the dollars, Razoo is the one, and the Razoo Foundation is, they are the ones that actually issue the tax receipt. So know that you don't have to send your own tax receipt, and that's another thing that streamlines your workload a little bit. One thing off your plate you don't have to worry about. All you get to do is make sure you thank the donors the right way, the personal way, and use some of that great data you get from your database from that day. Count any offline donations received in your grand total when you go and report out on that. That's something that sometimes we all forget, but you will be surprised. You will have some donors that just don't want to give online for whatever reason that day. I have some organizations I've worked with that just and that have participated that actually get more offline than they do online. Now, obviously, the goal of this is to encourage online giving because it really is increasing, and it is it's the fastest growing area of fundraising, so it's something you want to get comfortable with and you want to get your donors comfortable with because that's where things are headed. But for those who actually are giving these offline donations, make sure you include that in your total when you go and report out on your performance that day. And keep the fun alive. I think the thing that the Big Give stands out and really leaves an imprint in people's mind is it's just a fun celebratory day. It's our state coming together, uniting to give where we live. It's people recognizing the good that all of your organizations, schools, nonprofits are doing to make our lives better, our families' lives better, and so on. So there's a fun spirit to the Big Give, and that is part of what makes this day unique and part of what people love about it. So figure out how you can kind of keep that fun alive as you move forward. Brainstorm, have some fun ways, and I'm sure you'll all get much more creative than probably we on this webinar can do. So we'll look forward to hearing some of that from you. And as I mentioned earlier about Sierra Nevada Journeys, here's an example again. I'm just pulling what we had from another webinar, but it's good. It's a great example. So what's neat about this one is, so here's their report out on social media of how they did. So real fun energy, right? Drum roll, please, as we share the final results. They tell you specifically how many donors gave. So thank you to our 23 donors. They use the hashtag NVBigGive. Again, you want to try to use, you want to tap into everybody else who's viewing the Big Give Facebook page and Twitter page that day because it can help increase exposure for you. They talk about the matching grant from their board, how much they raised. And what's also I like about this and is important, they were just shy of their goal, right? Just shy of it. And one of the things that I think you want to think about, we oftentimes get people nervous about setting goals, and yet you will hear us over and over and over again talk about setting a goal can really bring in more donors, because people want to help you, who care about you personally or your organization, want to help you reach the goal. So they set a goal. They were very public about it, and they were just so close to it. And they didn't meet it, but they were close to it. So they reported that, and that was very honest. And I love how they just said, wow, we're so thankful for your contributions. And, you know, without that, they wouldn't be able to send the very deserving youth from Big Brothers Big Sisters to their summer camp. So it really brings it all full circle. It's kind of like the magical, if we could have like an example of everything done right, this post, this picture, how they show at the bottom the quick snapshot visual graphic showing donors, how much they raised, and their goal. I mean, very powerful way of sharing their success. And whether you're someone who reads the whole little paragraph they put, or you look at the little, you know, logo with the results, either way, you get to kind of see your results, and that's really important. So moving on. Now we're past the day after, right? So soon after is a bit vague for a reason. All of you have a lot on your plates. The key is you don't want to lose the momentum from this. It's kind of like a big fundraising event, right? That the next day you're exhausted, but you do some of the necessary thank yous the next day or the next week. But then it's easy to kind of move on to the next thing and never maximize what you got from that day. So what the hope is here is that you will think about how you can include the donors from your Big Give Day into your plans, your communications, your outreach for the entire year, so that hopefully there'll be repeat donors for you during next year's Big Give, or at another event, or at another opportunity, year-end giving. You know, it's amazing how if you engage and do it in the right way without always asking for something, how much you'll get in return. So make sure to do that. You know, again, you'll want to share your final numbers in other communications, so not just by social media, other ways you do it. We will have a survey, and all of you will most likely get an email that will have the link to the survey. We really want your feedback. We each year try to learn from the years past and change things up and make things a little bit different. And we know we're not perfect, so we're always open to your suggestions. We also would love anybody who's willing to help in the future, because this has been a small team that has put on this effort for the last 6 years. We're all volunteers, and we need manpower throughout the state to help us. So if you're even willing to do that, we would love for you to reach out to us in some way or through the survey. And, you know, make sure that if you haven't done it already, please do it. But on the Big Give website at nvbiggive.org, there is a spot where you can, on the homepage, where you can click to receive updates about Big Give and Nevada's Big Give and announcements. And you want to click on that and make sure you're in our list if you haven't already done that, because it will keep you updated from now through just after the Big Give, and then during the next year as we have updates gearing up for 2018 Big Give, you're going to want to stay in the loop on that. And of course, we want to keep you in the loop on that.
Okay, thanks, Stacey. So most of this webinar has really been geared toward those of us who work in the nonprofit sector. But I did want to take a moment to touch on what the what this big day is for donors and how donors can navigate this big day. A little personal story. When I started out with this organization 4 years ago, I gave 2 or 3 gifts online because I was relatively new to town. I didn't know a lot of organizations, and every year my list of donations grows because I am inspired to give, because I learn about these organizations from the Big Give and I see their impact in the community. So as a donor, I love this resource. It really makes me feel more connected with my community. Also, as a donor, one thing that I really love is that I don't have to check out every time I make a donation. I can put multiple donations in a cart and check out once, and I can store my credit card number in there and my address and all of my information, and it's just click and give. It is that easy. It's also really easy to share your support as a donor on social media, because a pop-up box will come up and say, please share. And so it's basically they've done all the hard work for you in the background. All you have to do is click and share and tell your friends on Twitter or Facebook that you have just supported ABC organization and you feel like $1 million and you love what they do and you'd love it if they would join you. And so love it if they would join you brings me to the next point. Your family and your friends and your coworkers and your neighbors and everyone that you know, don't be afraid to put something out there, to pick up the phone, to send some text messages. As a donor, you don't have to have a formal fundraiser set up for the organizations that you love. You can be out there as an advocate, as a cheerleader on behalf of the organizations that you support, and ask everyone that you know to join you in supporting them on March 23rd. And then just like those of us in the nonprofit world, stay tuned throughout the day. Follow the excitement on all the social media platforms and maybe even tune into the local news, because I want to remind you that we have invited all of the news outlets in Southern Nevada to come to the launch on March 23rd. For Southern Nevada, we've organized a media launch 8:30 in the morning in Town Square, so right in the middle of town. Everyone is invited. So come on down, see some great performances, hear some good speakers, have a chance to support this giving day that is statewide. You can, we also encourage you to join us online through Facebook Live if you can't be there in person. But it's going to be a really good time, so we encourage you to try to be there in person. So let's talk about some final reminders. You want to register and invite your fellow nonprofits to register if they have not already done so. We did have a registration deadline of March 1st, and we've extended that. So we've left it open for anyone who wants to try to get in on this. We really encourage you to get registered now, do that ASAP. And all you have to do is go to www.nbbiggive.org and click Register My Nonprofit. Once you're in there, get into that Nonprofit Toolkit under the Resources tab. There's a lot of stuff in there, including all of the webinars that we have recorded to help guide you through this. And as Stacy mentioned, sign up for the emails right from that homepage so that you can be informed about some strategic opportunities, the latest and greatest news, and make sure that you're on top of it for the next big give after this year. And then the final thing that a final reminder is that we do have some hashtags set up for the Big Give, and we encourage you to use those. So hashtag NBBigGive and hashtag GiveWhereYouLive. And we are going to be watching them trend on Twitter all day on March 23rd. So thank you for helping us do that. And finally, this would not be complete without a big, big, big shout out, thank you to our sponsors. We could not do this without our sponsors, and these organizations have committed to support this statewide online giving day in a way that is truly amazing and propels us forward as a state. So thank you to Sands Cares and Wells Fargo and Barrick. We are so grateful for your investment and cannot wait for March 23rd to be able to share in the excitement with you every minute of the day. So I think that is all we have for you today. I'd like to say thanks for tuning in. And if you have any questions after this webinar and you've gone through all the resources on the Giving Day website, you can email support@razoo.com. And you can find all that contact information on the Big Give website. So nbbiggive.org, that is your ticket to awesomeness on March 23rd.
Awesome. Thank you, Diana, and thanks to everybody for joining us. We are going to stop the recording now and can't wait to see your success on the 23rd. Take care.